Alright guys, so I've got our first project open. Now we're going to do a second portion, or we're going to add on to this project. Again, this just kind of show us how to do things with Studio 5000. Alright, so if most of you wrote your project, turned it in, and then we wired it up, right? So if you held S1, the P1 light would come on. If you held S2, the P2 light would come on. If you held S3, the P3 light would come on. So now we're going to do what we call a latching circuit, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So with the latching, what you want to do is bring down a branch, okay? And you can bring a branch in like such. So the branch is here right above on your favorites. So we want to branch each rung that we have. So we'll just scroll down. We might have to end up scrolling down some before I can do that. There we go. So since it's a little bit, I'm in my office this morning. I don't have access to the license server for my office yet. That's why it's kind of smaller this morning, but this is kind of what it'll look like when you're in NetLabs here. But now what we need to do is we have a branch here, okay? So with this branch, we're creating an alternate path to our output. All right, and we're gonna say, hey, we want this S1 station, right, to be, we want to have another path. So when we press the button, P1 comes on and stays on. So what we have to do is we have to branch around this output. There's two ways you can do it. You can left click on that and drag it like such, okay? Or what you can do is take and click on the output, the XIC here, left click, hold down, and slide that in between and move it inside like such. Okay, that's just the two different ways. Whatever you decide you want to do is fine, as long as it looks like this when you get through. So now that we have this, we have another path. So if we were to go to communications, right, and we had our communications path set up, we hit download, what would happen is you would see that the P1 light is on all the time. Okay, but we don't want the P1 light to be on all the time. We want to press the button, and then once you press the button, we want the light to come on. So the way we do that is the same way you would do it kind of in like a motor start circuit, okay? You would use part of whatever you're controlling in the output. We use an instruction here that says, hey, if this output comes on, or this address here comes on, or it closes, let's keep it on, all right? So now when we hit S1, when we press the button, this output will energize. Once this output energizes, it's going to keep that address on, and now we'll have a path to our output this way. All right. So you're going to do that for each one. Make sure you're dragging the output from each one here. Each rung. All right. So you should look something like this, okay? Then we want to, you want to file, and you're going to save this as project 2. All right, I'm just going to save it to my desktop. Remember, if you save it to your desktop, to load it in Moodle before you get kicked out. You know, keep an eye on your time remaining here. Load it back into Moodle, all right? So now that we have this saved, this is something you're going to wire up just to show you how when you press S1, the light's going to stay on. But now we want to add to this one. So don't forget to turn this one in, make your own comments, right? So in this case, I shouldn't have saved it yet, I guess. I got a little ahead of myself. So in this case, we're going to say S1 or P1 turns output P1 on. Or what you could say, if S1 is pressed, P1 turns on and latches on around S1. All right, so that's just an example of something you could say there. All right, just make sure you do all your run comments there before you do it. File, and then save it. It's project 2. All right. Don't forget to save it as a L5K. So do a file, save as, change it to a L5K, hit save. All right, then now you got this. Okay, after you got all your own comments. Now what I want you to do is, you'll see that after you wired this up, you want to put a stop button in there. Okay, so we're going to use S6. So I'm going to drag down an XIC. And again, we talked about control tags and how to make them. You can right click over here and do new tag, or you can right click over here and do new tag. It doesn't really matter. So I'm going to call this S6, right? And this is the E stop on the Festo trainer. And that's alias for local 1. Input data, and we're just going to use number 6, which is the next one. Alright, so now we want this E stop to turn off each light. Okay, so all we'd have to do is just drag another XIC down, drag our address down to the green light here. So we left clicked on our address and drove it to the green light. I'll show you again. So pull your XIC down, click on the S6 portion of it, see it highlights blue here. Left click, hold, and clunk. Alright, so now what will happen is when you press these buttons, this will now change. Alright, this will change. And then you'll wire this up. And when you wire this up, what you'll do is you'll watch how if you turn on the buttons and press stop, either depending on which lights are on, but they'll cut off when you hit the stop button. Okay, this is going to be project 3. All right, so make sure you re-edit your own comments here. So on this one I can just kind of edit it. So if S1 is pressed, P1 turns on and latches around S1. And in this case, if S1 is pressed and the E stop is closed, P1 turns on and latches around S1 and remains on until S6 E stop is pressed. Alright. Make sure you, like I said, do that for each rung there. You have your little rung comments. I'm going to do file. I'm going to save it as project 3. Save. And then file. Save as L5K project 3. Alright, then we'll have all of that. And this is the first portion of what we're going to do this week. Now what will happen is I'm going to create a new video. We're going to be using the Seymour panel. Alright, so I'm going to teach you how to write your tags for the actual Seymour panel. Okay? That's going to be it.